Thank you and welcome to afternoon session. Welcome from break. I hope you can hear. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Precious. Thank you, Steven. It's like Steven, you're joining us for the first time today. Amos, thank you for being always there. Class rep, Elizabeth, thank you. Joseph, thank you. Odu, then Grace, Joseph, you're welcome. I've not seen Chidima yet. I hope she's somewhere. I have to look for alternative somewhere. You know, this rain now in town, there's no light anywhere. Mm. So I have to hide myself in one filling station to be able to deliver this. At least being the first lecture today, it's good that we complete the 3 hours. So I don't know if there might be interference as a result of noise. Yeah, you will have to bear with me for the next 50 minutes or 40 minutes or so as we move along. In the morning sections, we look at just a recap. We look at research, you know, what research is. We look at the characteristics of research, and then we look at research design. We establish that the reason, there must be a purpose, there must be inquiry as to why you conduct a research. You know, like I said, as you are in this program now by now, you'll be able to ask yourself the reason for embarking on this program and my focus. Where will be my focus area? For information, let me tell us that any research works that we have to do with, say, gender-based violence, you know, it has been overflogged though, seriously. The previous students have overflogged that area. So the institute will not take that one. They will not look in that direction. Gender-based violence in IDP camps, analysis, assessment of gender-based violence, and effect all of this. So you have to think beyond the issue of gender-based violence and look into another direction. I'm going to share my screen this afternoon now, you know, so that we get going. Yes. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
This is the meat of the matter. Class rep, can you read that chat that is on the chat box? Because as I share screen now, reading it means I have to escape this. I don't know the message that is on the chat box. Can somebody read it? And okay, what is the
Research
message?
is Elizabeth, sir.
Okay. What is the message?
Research method for social standard SST 705, Dr. O.M. Oga.
Okay, is that the message at the chat box?
Okay,
I mean the chat box. Chat box. Chat. Yeah. Do you see where I'm pointing to?
Someone is appreciating you for your effort and your sacrifice, sir. Precious Okpe.
Oh, thank you so very much. Oh, Precious, thank you, my Precious, thank you. And thanks to everybody for your sacrifice that you didn't even go to hide it under this weather, under this weather, the weather is cool. This weather is good for tea. You take tea and then wrap yourself on your bed. Well, you are here now for sacrificing your time. Thank you so very much. This is the meat of the matter we are diving into in the next 30 minutes or so. Okay, now, this is actually the content. I have touched some of them. We look at the research. Of course, we established that what research is. We look at its characteristics. We've seen the characteristics of research, that it must be purposeful. It must be something that has to do with contributions to knowledge. It must something that adds to the existing body of knowledge. It must have inquiries. It must come out with findings. Research must establish a fact to build on a fact. We also look at the research design. We said it has to do with the structure, the outline, the guide. Your research design guide you how you want to carry out your research. What is involved? How do you want to do it? We also look at the components of research design. We look at this component. That is where we concluded before we went on break. The need for confidentialities of the respondents can never be overemphasized. They need to protect their identity. They need to protect their names. They need to protect their areas, their localities, their regions, their tribe is important. You see, many times when people embark on research or research like this, there are a lot of issues. Can I tell us a story of what happened to me some years ago at Federal Medical Center, Makurdi here? I feel I should go for eyes checkup. Let me have a check on my side. It's not that I have issue, by the grace of God, God bless me with a good side, and I'm not taking it for granted. But I feel I should carry out the check, routine checks on my side. So when I went, they referred me to ICE unit, Federal Medical Center, Makurdi here, and I got there. They prescribed some tests for me to do. And I went doing all these tests, then remained a particular one. So since I don't know what it is all about, As I was going to Federal Medical Center from one place to another to locate that place, I keep asking people, where do I do this test? Where do I run this test? Where do I run this test? Until I was able to locate that place. And when I got there, to be double sure, the people that were there, I asked them, is it where I'm going to conduct this test? They say yes. Okay. So I sat. After like 5 minutes sitting there, a lady walked in and they said I should come in. And I got inside. And the question the person asked me was, are you on drugs? I was like, drugs? I now asked her, what kind of drugs? He said, retrovirus drug. I said, retroviral what? Retrovirus drug. He said, this place is for HIV and AIDS, counseling and guidance. I said, wait, what is the connection between my side and the issue of HIV and AIDS? The lady said, no, that is that what problem? I said, yes. I made a complaint, and the man there said I should go for this test. As a matter of fact, I have carried out all the tests, remaining this one. The lady said no. I said, however, I'm here now. Go on. I know myself. She did, and she gave me the result. When I went back to that hospital, and I called the nurses that were there, that they should tell me the correlation between this and that. They said no, no correlation. There's no linkage. I said, why should this man subject me to this test? Now, the bottom line is what happened there. Now, people that hitherto that knew me, and then they saw me in that place when I went for that test, sitting and waiting for whoever that will come, but have supposed me that I am what? I am a HIV and AIDS patient. And that would be the conclusion. So even if they see me anywhere, people that I don't even know, they will point to the fact that they saw this person someday, somewhere there, and he came for this purpose. So what happened? I'll be then what? Stigmatized. That's what happened in our situation today in the country. And some people, when they are known with certain no habit and this like this, and they did research on them, people concluded this person is this person, this person is this. So there is no confidentiality of the respondents maintained. You should learn to keep your mouth shut, keep the secret of your respondent secrets. Are you hearing me? And that is why we don't list them, we don't mention them. Now, we're going to look at experimental and non-experimental designs, the advantages and disadvantages. I'm giving us the rundown of the course content. Some of them, like the first two, we have touched that side. Then we look at correlation, research design, and the characteristics. Correlation, research design, and the characteristics. What are the objectives of this section? And throughout the whole of the time I'm going to engage us. We aim that you'll be able to list 4 differences between experimental and non-experimental research. What I did if I say experimental research, and you'll be able to give me the example of what experimental research design is and what non-experimental research design is. Then you're able to explain the advantages. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages of the two, of the experimental research design and non-experimental research design? You're able to define research already. We established that we define research in our morning section. Then you list 3 characteristics of what? Correlation. When we say correlation, we are talking about relationship. What is the relationship between this variable and the other variable? Is there a relationship between having money and being happy? Does money guarantee happiness? Does money guarantee the fact that if you have money, that you'll be happy? Is there correlation? Is there correlation between having a beautiful wife, marrying a beautiful wife, and then having a good character? Is there correlation? Is there correlation that somebody that is short is somebody that is there unmovable? People have this belief that people that are short, that nothing move them, that they remain like that. Is there correlations? And when we talk of correlation, we said, is there a relationship between variables? If there's a relationship between variables, what kind of relationship is it? Is the relationship direct? Is the relationship inverse? In other words, is the relationship positive? Positive correlation. So that as one increases, the other one also what? Increases. Or is there negative? As one increases, the other one is negative. That is the move in opposite direction. All of us here, you might have had the elementary level, you know, knowledge of economics. What does the law of demand and supply say? Who can tell me what the law of demand and supply say? I mean the law of demand and law of demand rather. Law of demand. What is the law of demand? Can somebody help us? Hello, class. Are you hearing me?
Yes,
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
I said, can somebody state the law of demand? What does the law of demand say? If you have knowledge of elementary economics, what does the law of demand say?
Okay. The higher the supply, the higher
So,
the
Ruth, you are joining us. Good afternoon, Cecil. You're welcome. What is the law of demand? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
The law
Yes.
is that the higher
Amos.
the price, the lower the quantity demanded, and the lower the price, the
Who?
quantity demanded.
Who? The higher the price, the lower the quantity that we all demanded. This tells you that demand and price, they have what? Inverse what? Correlation. That is, if one increases, the other one does what? Decreases. So we are going to look at such situations in our research. In an instance where you have the variable, one increases, the other one decreases. Like the research that they must carry out on cassava production. It is expected that when you add fertilizer to the land, to the soil, that will lead to what? Increase in the yield of what? Cassava. That is to say, cassava and fertilizer have a positive relationship. There is what? Correlation. Variable exists in correlation. What we don't know is the magnitude of the correlation. That is the strength of the correlation. Is it high? Is it low? That is what we're talking about. And the objectives continue that you will be able to list three types of correlation. Of course, we are coming to that. Correlation can be positive, correlation can be negative, and there can be no correlation at all, no relationship. Like the instance I start the other time, it's possible there may not be correlation between somebody that have money and their happiness. Money does not necessarily bring happiness. If at all money does, some millionaires today that commit suicide, it wouldn't have happened. In America, a lot of people commit what suicide, even when they have the money. Yes. And again, one cannot say that having money is a yardstick, is a guarantee for good health. It doesn't necessarily follow. No. If that is the case, no big man would have died because of any sickness. Remember one time president of this country, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, he is now on wheelchair. Talk about he has all the money to make it, but money does not guarantee what? Good health necessarily. Then we explain what we mean by pattern detections. What is pattern in research? You see that certain variable may follow a pattern. That is a trend. Look at this. Like if you talk of if you talk of monetary policy, monetary variables like interest rate, like inflation rate, exchange rate, you see there is a pattern they follow. If the exchange rate under this government is very high, interest rate is what? Is high. Inflation is what? Is also high. So this one followed what? A certain pattern. So you're able to establish a trend that if this one increases, what happens? The other one what? Increases. Then we enumerate the purpose and process of pattern what? Detections. What are the outcome? It is our expectations. Expectations that you as a student or as a participant, you will identify four differences at least between what we call experimental and non-experimental research. You're able to enumerate two advantages and disadvantages of experimental and non-experimental research. We're able to identify three types of correlation. Then you identify the features, the advantages and disadvantages of pattern detections. What do we start again? How do we learn from the pattern? If at all it happens before doesn't mean that the same trends will follow abroad. Like now, that interest rate, exchange rate, inflations in the past, they move in the same direction, in the same pattern. One increases, the other one decreases. One lead to increase in other. Do we say that in future it continue like that? It may or it may not. We're going to look at all this. Now, I've talked about this one, pace of development in the world, additional demand on new generations to manage that. Like you saw a new cars, a new ways of doing this, bring us the new findings, incorporate them into your day-to-day decision. Research is important in your daily decisions, in your daily activity, to understand the world around you and things that are happening. Because the world of yesterday cannot be the same like the world of today again. No, the world is evolving. It's a dynamic world. It's a dynamic system. It's a dynamic situation. And so we move according to the world. There are people we call BBC. Who can tell me the full meaning of BBC, class? BBC. Are you hearing me? To root. Can you tell me what the meaning of BBC is? BBC. Yes, class. Who can tell me? Talk to me, class. Who can tell me the meaning of BBC? BBC. Yes, class. Yes, Ruth.
British
What is the full
Broadcasting.
meaning of BBC? British Broadcasting Corporation? Yes. Who can tell me again? British Broadcasting Corporation is all that we know about BBC. Can somebody say something?
So let me make an attempt, sir.
Yes, Elizabeth.
I can an attempt with BBC before Christ.
Okay. Yes. Another person, any idea again? Nobody. This BBC that we talk about, it stands for, it's an acronym that is something that is funny. We say BBC is born before computer. Born before computer. That is people that are like ancients of days, that are old, and they don't want a change in a system that is changing, in the world that is dynamic. They remain as they were from time to time to time to time. We call them analog system, analog people, analog people. They are resistant to change, they are resistant to innovation, they are resistant to research, they are resistant to what is happening all around us. How many of us have seen a Nokia 3310 before? How many of us have seen Nokia 3310? Nokia 3310. How many of us have seen it?
I've used
Eh?
it, sir.
You use it. That was my first answer. Nokia
Yes.
3310. We call it pure water. We call it ECOMOG. We call it weapon of mass destruction. And all of these things. Is Nokia 3310 still in the market today? No.
No.
It's no longer in the market. And then those days, you have a handset like a Sony Ericsson. You have a Motorola. You have a other Nokia, different brand. Because this company, they refuse to move. In the dynamic world, they have been phased out of market. Techno have taken over and Samsung, the market. Now, research can be applied in personal functions, important to generate information, non-quality, ambitious efficiency. I've talked about these ones before. So we will not go into this contribution to knowledge important. We are going to another topic. Another topic. I'm moving ahead of my slide. I'm moving ahead of my slide. My system is tending towards the BBC. Oh, we've talked about competence stuff. This was where, now we are going to look at what experimental research design and what non-experimental research design. I hope you can still see my slide.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Good.
Yes,
When
sir,
we
we
talk
can
of
see.
experimental, thank you. When we talk of experimental research design, we are talking about a system whereby you manipulate one or more variables to observe the effect on another variable while controlling for potential confounding factors. Somebody help me read the chart. Class rep, can you read the chart there? What is the message on the chart? Is it praising?
He's saying that he has missed a lot. He's just joining us, so he's like feeling bad.
Okay. Oh, is that root? Is that root?
No, that is from
Okay.
Samson.
Okay, Samson. No problem. Tomorrow, try to be on time. We say experimental research designs, you manipulate one or more variables to observe the effect on another variable. What happened? You are controlling for potential confounding factors. Now, when we talk of experimental research, this is the kind of research that is done in the lab, in the laboratory. In the laboratory, you can afford to control one variable at the expense of the others. For instance, if I have two crops, let's say maize seed, I can plant maize in an open, right? You plant maize in an open environment like your farm or your backyard. You allow it, you allow the sun, you allow the rain, you allow all that is needed for it to thrive. Then I may decide again to plant that same maize in an enclosure, maybe in my room or in a laboratory, where it is not exposed to moisture, sunlight, right? Where other condition and that one that is exposed outside, have the privileges that one has, the one that is inside may not have no those privilege. Then you watch what happened. This one now that is subjected to this condition inside is what we call what control. Is what control experiment because it's under regulations, is under some control factors. The sun may not be there like the one that is outside. If they don't have enough rain, maybe you'll be watering it every day. You may water it, you may overwater it or not. If you don't have the necessary nutrients like the other one outside. And so when you do that, this type of research design, you look at the problem scientifically, you establish what? A clear cause, a clear effect of every event. What is the effect of not exposing this maize to sunlight? What does it have? You remember that when some crops are planted, maybe it's the shadow of a tree or so that cover them. You know the way they grow. They don't look headier like the ones that are not covered by any shadow or anything. You know that. If you are a farmer, you will know where there is shade. Now, in my compound, my boy, my first son planted he planted maize and planted a groundnut, in the compound. The maize were well exposed. But where he planted the groundnut is where I have a tall coconut tree. That coconut shadow like is covering the groundnut, and they are not having enough sun, penetration of sun for them to grow. If you offer biology, what the green chlorine plants or plant does in a place of photosynthesis, building up by the means of light. With this, they're able to attract rays of sun with that green chlorine plant chlorophyll, and then they manufacture their food. But the shadow of that coconut covered it. So the growth is not like this one that it makes. In other words, you see that one is under control. It's under control. So we want to see whether it is the impact of that control that has effect on that crop that is making it not to grow very well. So we try to understand the impact of the independent variable on what? On the dependent variable. If I plant this one, like this one, I may applied all agronomic practices, applied fertilizers, chemicals, and the rest of them, and leave them to grow. But this one that is in a closure, I may decide not to apply what? Fertilizer. So let me see, could it be that these non-applications of the fertilizer and all other agronomic practices that I'm supposed to deploy to this crop is the reason that this crop didn't yield well? We are looking at what? Experimental research design. Okay, like the example I cited in the morning section before we went to break, like that student that was rearing, cat, experimental purpose for her master's degree program. Those cats were kept in an enclosure. They were fed with different meat, different from other cats. So she wants to see actually whether that feed, what is being fed this cat with, actually have effect on their growth, you know, on their behavior and the rest. So when you are doing that, we say you are doing what? Experimental research design, where you can manipulate what? The variable. We say in often social science, we use it to observe human behavior and understand the social psychology of human being better. Even human being, you can do that to human being without somebody knowing. Especially in a situation where you have a group of people like 10 or upward, you can subject one group, only you know this, and them, to a special diet, and the other one, you remove this one, and then you see whether is the impact of this diet, special diet or this group that will lead to the group, that will lead to the development, brain-wise, knowledge-wise, academic-wise. You and I know that the kind of diet eat goes a long way to influence your behavior and academic performance. True or false? Class, answer me. Hello, is somebody there? Odu?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's true, sir.
That is why when you see children in the village, even though they have the same age with somebody in the town, the one in town like this, you will see, you will see as if he's 5, 6 years older than that one in the village. Yes. Now, we look at the characteristics of experimental research design. Number one, we said there's what? Control environment. Control environment. As a researcher, you carefully control the experimental conditions to minimize what? The influence of extragenous variable. What is extragenous variable? Extragenous variables are external factors, external variable that could affect the outcome. So there's a control. Like example I started all the time, that you have maize, you planted one outside, exposed. That one is not under any control. It's exposed to sunlight, is exposed to rain, is exposed to wind, is exposed to humidity, is exposed to all the agronomic practices that will make it to grow. But the other one in enclosure that is controlled, you prevent rays of sun from coming in. You prevent other factors from coming in. So that is what we mean by controlled environment, so that you'll be able to establish if indeed the effect of this control is the reason for malfunctioning of that person, for malfunctioning of that person. Then there's a random assignment. What do we mean by random assignment? You saw participants are what? Randomly assigned to different experimental conditions to ensure that any differences observed between groups are due what? To the manipulations of the independent variable, rather than pre-existing differences between participants. Like the example I started the other time, that it can be conducted even on human beings. Like say you have 10 group of people, you pick 1, 2, or 3 so randomly, give them special diet, and then the other group, let them eat what other people that are used to. Then see whether it is the impact of this diet on this group that are randomly selected that have effect on their growth, because there is what? Manipulation. As I move, if there are questions, let me know. Then another characteristic we said there is what? Manipulation of variables. I've overflowed this over and over and over and again. As a researcher, you can deliberately manipulate one or more independent variable to observe their effect on the dependent variable. You can decide, to take off fertilizer. Like that person with cat, you can decide to starve them. The meat that I'm giving them, maybe they grow to a certain level. Let me see. Whether if I starve them one day, you see what happens. Those of us that study biology at O level, remember one man, this man that did one practical on one experiment on dog. That is on a reflex action. Is it Pavlov experiment? Pavlov experiments. So that's a long time. That was in my 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 biology class last time was 1990 or so. I see this man, what happened? When he rings a bell, the dog will come. And what happened? The man what? Salivates. Reflex action. And know that food has come. It continues like this. The essence that you want to know whether this saliva in the mouth of dog can actually be induced by subjecting that dog to this condition. You get it? So what happened? So each time he reached the dog will come, food is ready. So he decided, to withdraw food, and then what happened? To keep bringing bread. He keep bringing bread to actually see whether the mouth will salivate. But as he ring, the dog will have this feeling that what happened? That there's food ready for it. So dog will come. And when dog come, there's no food. But what happened? If we still what? Salivate. He has put that dog under that condition by what? Manipulating it. Now, in my house, then I have this domestic chicken, plenty, domestic chicken. There are plenty. There's a way I train them. In the morning when I want to give them food, they were over 20 or so, If I want to give them food, what I do? To call them, I whistle. When I whistle like this, they will come. Anywhere they are, they will gather. They know that food is ready. I'm going to give them food. So one time, my mother-in-law came. My mother-in-law came on visitations, and my mother-in-law never knew how I trained my chickens. So these people, they love singing by whistling. So she started singing as she was whistling. As she was whistling like this, not knowing all the chicken, well, wherever place they are, the small, the big one, that was how they run. Those that can fly, they fly and came to a place and gather, looking at her like this. She now remember, oh, this is how I train these chickens. Oh, I don't know. If it's a human being, the mouth also might have salivated. So that is we'll be able to manipulate the variables. Now, the next characteristic is that there is what we call quantitative data. Experimental research often involve the collection of what we call quantitative data. These data are data that are collected through what survey design, through measurements, through experimental work tasks. It's not like observation. It's not like the use of questionnaires. These ones are what we call qualitative. But this one, it has to be with experiment. You carry out experiment either in lab. I established in the first sections that our own laboratory, our lab, are what are the farms, the farm. Gona, Itie, that is our own laboratory. Our laboratories are the market where we carry out survey, we interview people. What is the marketing margin? Are you breaking even in this, what you said? But experimental research design is not like that. It's something that has to be done in a lab where there will be a control of it. You're able to have a control over the experiment. Now, another characteristic is what we call causality inference. Causality inference. We say experimental design are particularly useful. We also establish causal relationship between what variables. What is the relationship between variable y, which is the dependent variable, and what variable x, which is the independent variable. For instance, can I ask us, what is the relationship between, between increase in salary and living a good life? Can we say something, class? Is there a relationship between your salary increment and then having a better standard of living? Is there a relationship? Hello,
Yes,
class.
sir.
Yes, there is a
Okay,
positive
what kind of
relationship,
relationship?
sir.
What kind of, You say, Amos?
Positive relationship, sir.
Positive for some, there will be what? Positive relationship. That if there's increase in salary, the way their means, their standard of living will improve. So we in the spiritual research want to see if at all the reason for control is the reason why this variable, the dependent variable, is behaving this way. Establish causal relation between variable, you can control the condition under which the variable are manipulated and observed. Like you have laboratory experiment, field experiment, quasi-experimental what design. You'll be able to establish. Now, we move into non-experimental research design. This one has to do with observation. It has to do with description of phenomenon. You don't need to manipulate any variables. You don't need to manipulate any variable. Like the research that we carried out, in our field, they are what non-experimental research. Like the research work that was carried out regarding cassava and poverty, alleviation. That was is non-experimental research. You are not manipulating any variable. There's no variable that is under your control. You cannot even manipulate the decision, the choice of the respondents, the questions that they answered to you. You cannot. If you do that, it's like you falsifying the figures. Yes. For instance, if you have, let's say, a hectare of cassava farm, there's expected yield with good agronomic practices, and then you apply it all, maybe fertilizer, very well, you chemicals, you weed labor, use all of these. It's expected the yield you will have from that 1 hectare. If it is even rice farm, it's expected the number of 50 kg, bags of rice that you get from them under good agronomic practices. This one, there can be no manipulation. You will not be able to manipulate anything without manipulating what? The variable. What are the characteristics? We said it is what? Naturalistic in setting. Naturalistic setting. That it is natural. Non-experimental research often takes place in naturalistic setting, where the researcher observe phenomena they occur without what? Intervention. Like when you plant, I'm a social scientist, an agriculturist, and our research areas are the farm. When you plant your masara, when you plant that is your kureke, when you plant them, badu and the rest, you plant them, you leave them what? Under the natural setting without you intervening. Like this, you cannot intervene the amount of rainfall that will happen. No, you don't have control over it. You cannot interfere over the amount of sunshine that will come, that will make that plants to grow. Mind you don't even know, do you even know the volume of water that will make that crops to grow? The answer is no. You have no control over it. So it is natural. It is in a natural setting. You observe this phenomenon the way they occur without what? Your interference. Another characteristic is that it is descriptive or correlational. Non-experimental research, it may aim to describe what? Characteristics, may aim to describe characteristics of a population. Like the research, like I said before, from the beginning, that you want to talk about the socioeconomic characteristics of your respondent. That is their age. What is their age like? How old are they? How many of them are males? How many of them are females? How many of them are educated? If they are educated, what level of educations? Are they in primary? Are they in secondary? Are they in tertiary? What is their farming experience like? Are they vast in farming experience, male or female? What of their marital status? Are they single? Are they married? And all of this. What is the annual income? So if you describe this result, you put it what in a descriptive manner, not experimental research. Describes characteristics of a population, explore relationship between variables, make predictions. Yeah, you don't manipulate any variable. You cannot, because some of these variables, they are beyond what your control. You cannot manipulate the age of a respondent. Let's say you go to the field and you get no responses on the age of a respondent. You cannot come and adjust and say, this one, you must be this age. Somebody that is 35 years, you say, no, your age is 45. Let me shoot it like it is not possible. You don't have control over it. That is it. It is correlational. Find relationship. Next, it may be qualitative or quantitative data. Non-experimental research can involve the collection of qualitative data, and this one, we are talking about whether it is qualitative or quantitative. And I said, non-experimental research design is what? Qualitative in nature. The kind of data that we collect using these are like interview methods that some of us are so used to. It might be observation method. It will be focus group discussion. It may be quantitative like data through survey or archival data analysis. Observation, as we are here now. I don't know how many of us are in this class now, but it's possible somebody might be there, might be observing, and may not be a student, and then study whatever thing, that we are saying, and then we are discussing. You have people like this, we call them what? SS. In the universities and in tertiary institutions, some of them, they are there in the hostel as well as students. They behave like the way you behave. They will be giving registration number. They are observing behaviors of an individual. When something happens, they'll be the one to, that is what gathering intelligence report or a focus group. Wow, 5 minutes to go. Time is running. What is another characteristic? There is what? Limited what? Control. Limited control, limited control. Unlike experimental design, non-experimental research, typically, it lacks the level of control. It lacks the level of controls and variables, over variables and conditions. So it is difficult for you to establish what a causal relationship, like the experimental research design, that you withdraw this one variable, independent variable, you'll be able to know that it is actually this one that resulted to this, the effect of this, because you have a control over this. But when it comes here, you don't have control. You don't have control. There's no control over the experiment, over your subject, over your respondent. So you cannot what? Manipulate. You cannot manipulate anything. You leave it like that. What are the example of experimental research design? Example may include observational studies where you observe. What do you mean? When you observe the behavior of a people, you cannot influence the behavior. I cannot influence the behavior of Amos if it's a gathering. Certainly, even if he's trying to pretend, his normal self will come out. I cannot influence the behavior of Precious. No matter how long it takes, her true character will come. So that of Joseph, so that of Elizabeth, so that of Samson, so that of Basil, and the rest of them. Because these are human beings. It may involve cross-sectional study like the one you go collect using a questionnaire. That is for a season, a month like this, like the data of this cassava production is one season. So cross-sectional is ends there. It may be longitudinal studies, the observations that data that are carried out for some years, from the repeated same group of human beings. It may be for a period of time like 10 years. Like now, I want to observe the behavior of students. From 100, I monitor their behavior, their academic performance from 100 down to 500 level, or primary skills pupils or learners, as they call them, from year 2 down to 12 years. I observe. Each years I record the performance. As if that is institutional, it may be case study. We don't want the case study. You take a place. What happened here? It may be a survey, and it may be what? A correlational studies. So, ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes to go. We work with time here. So I will end the sections for today here. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock by God's grace, we reconvene again. Let me pause here and ask if any person has questions, if you have any observations, if you have any comment, before I stop sharing the screen so that we discuss. If there are challenges, let me know. Any questions, any observations, any contributions, any comment. The other time you said that the place I was is dark. Where I hide now, I think you'll be able to see my face clearly by my estimation, even though there's no light. There's no light here. But I think it's brighter than the other side that I was before in the morning section. So, class, any question, contribution, comment, observations, or deduction and addition? Let me hear from you. Thank you. Thank you for the section today. Any question before I stop sharing my screen and then we talk? Does anybody have a question? Are we still here?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Joseph.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you, Joseph.
Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Mine is not a question. I just want to appreciate you. Your explanation was detailed, and I followed from the beginning to this point. So I just want to appreciate you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Joseph. Thank you. Thank you. Can I stop sharing now? Class rep, can I stop sharing?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I have a question, sir.
You are joining us this afternoon. You are not here in the morning. Yes.
Yes, I was not here. Sorry, sir.
No
my
problem.
question is among the two types of experimental design, the
Yes.
non-experimental design and that of
Experimental. Yes.
experimental.
Yes.
So, which one is it preferable for us to use in any research purposes? You can't. You didn't mention.
We are going to look. We are going tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to look at the comparison. How do we compare the two and the advantages and disadvantages of the two? If you are here from the beginning, you will know. I tell you that our kind of research, what we do is what is non-experimental or research design, our own, because we are social scientists. You understand?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
It's people that in the field of people in the field of medicine, chemists in laboratory and the rest, they are the one that microbiology that use what we call experimental research design, because you have control. Our own research, you don't have control over the variables you are using. You don't have control over them. Like for instance, if a plant wants to grow, plants need what? You need rain. You don't have control over rain. Do you have control over rain? No. You don't have control over land. You don't have control over sunshine. You understand? So our own is what? Is non-experimental research design. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Any other question? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I will stop sharing the screen now. Okay. How many of us? Okay, we have 10 participants. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Barcy. Thank you, Amos. Class rep, Elizabeth, thank you. Obu Samson, thank you. Precious Okwe, thank you. To Ruth, the meaning of to is chief, right? Chief Ruth Umbana, thank you. Thank you for today. Thank you for coming. I hope you can see me now. You can see me. I hope it's not that this time again. I hope everybody can see my face now. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is me. This is just me. Me and me alone. This is the person that I've been talking since morning. This is the one. So thank you for today. Looking
Okay, sir. Thank
forward
you.
to have a wonderful engagement with you tomorrow, by God's special grace. I pray we don't have obstruction. Though the network, some people say it's challenging, but my own, I think I flow very well. I enjoy my network. Yeah. Class rep, any announcement or anything again before we sign off? I'm going
Yes,
to
sir.
send you. I'm going to send you the slide tomorrow by God grace. The slide will come your way. Well, what happened is this. The way I do, I will send it to the class rep.
Okay,
I
sir.
hope you
We
have your
really
group
want to
chat.
appreciate. Yes, we do. We have our group chat, sir. And I want to
I will send
appreciate
it to
you.
you. Your network is challenging.
Very well, sir. The
Yeah,
rain,
Precious, thank you. Thank
the
you.
rain has,
Precious, thank you. We
but I
appreciate
could
your
follow
effort.
from this
The
session.
network,
Okay, sir, we really want to appreciate you for your selfless sacrifice, sir. We are looking forward to having a very great moment tomorrow with you. Thank you so much. All your lectures are very detailed, and we want to appreciate you for that.
thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you and good night. Enjoy the remaining hours of the day till we meet tomorrow. On this note, I think I can I can I can sign off now. So, and also you, this person means a lot. Thank you. Tomorrow is another day by God's grace. We join again by 10 a.m. See you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
Bye, sir. God bless you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Joseph, please end the Zoom meeting. You are the host, so just click on end at your device so that the Zoom meeting will end. Thank you. Joseph, do you hear what I said? Please add fast. Just click on end the Zoom meeting. It will end automatically.